Back in today's video, we're going to be giving you a ship tour of Serenade of the Seas. We're going to go all the way from right here on deck 2 all the way up to the very top and show you everything there is on this ship that you need to know about and you want to see. So let's get started right here on deck 2 right now. Okay guys, so deck 2 is pretty unique to start off with. The entire back is inaccessible due to it being crew area only. You do have the boarding area and these elevators right off the Centrum, and then just this hallway with rooms. The other side of the ship, as you'll see, is completely inaccessible due to being a crew area only. So let's head back towards the trophy room here, which is where you have all your plaques from first visits of ports, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about right here with the crew area accessible only. You cannot cross these doors. You're actually looking behind the scenes. Normally these doors are closed, but today we got to see a pretty cool view of this. You can see some of the behind the scenes footage here. Something really unique is that you get to see a sign here saying they're having a pirate party with costume makeup in the captain's quarters, which is cool just to know that the crew is having a good time below deck just like you are. So as we turn around from that crew area only, we're gonna head up the stairs, and in case you haven't been on a Royal Caribbean ship before, they do have artwork and little statues in the corners of each stairwell on each landing. It's a good landmark for you to kind of figure out what deck you're on and if you're on the right one where your room is or where whatever you're going to do is at. So as we turn around and we continue up the stairs, you'll see they have all the art here. They just had held an art auction, so it's all laid out in the hallway, but you can see these chrome and blue numbers that tell you what deck you're on at the top of each stairwell. Now the deck 3 layout is basically all rooms. As you can see, that green means it's rooms, and this is what it looks like just looking down the hallway. There is no public space on 3, so let's continue on 4. Does have a lot of rooms, but then we have the Centrum area where your shore excursions, guest services, your computer areas, we'll show you all this, the R bar, and of course you have your dining room in the very back and a tiny card room off to the side. Now, Whoopi Goldberg is the actual godmother of Serenade of the Seas. Here's her plaque stating so. And as we come around the corner from Whoopi Goldberg, we will get to the shore excursion desk and the guest services desk. This is where you can book excursions, or if you have a problem with your excursions, you can come here. Obviously, any issues with guest services can be handled here. And then directly behind this area is going to be the Centrum, which is the main hub of the ship. So here you can see the Centrum and the R bar, and this is looking across from the other side and just looking up. The Centrum to me is one of the coolest areas on these ships, as it is completely open from deck 4 all the way up to deck 12. They host concerts here, trivia, line dancing, parties, egg drops, all sorts of different performances and things to do right here. And so this space to me is just a really good use of space on these Radiance class ships, and it's also a very beautiful space, as you guys can see. Turning around from guest services, we actually have the Reflections dining room, and this is what the first floor or deck 4 looks like. They're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These are the typical times that you would see. And as we walk away from the dining room, here are your elevators. To me, that is the biggest drawback of this ship, is these elevators are always full. As you can see, there's a line dancing class going on. We're on the opposite side from guest services now. And then there's your R bar. Directly behind the R bar, so behind me right now as I turn around, you'll see you have the portrait studio, which is not very private, even though it is an added expense. You just have this sheer curtain basically hiding you and your family. As we turn down, there are the staterooms on deck 3. They're all forward from the bar, so we'll continue forward here and show you what the rest looks like. After walking the whole hallway, we're at the deck 4 sign, and I'll show you right here is actually the area beneath the stage. That's where all the risers and your lifts are, and that's why there's nothing there. But as you can see, as we look around deck 4, it's all green on both sides, which means it's all staterooms until you get past the Centrum area where you have your Centrum, and then the Reflections dining room that we already showed you. So from here, let's go ahead, climb the stairs, and continue on to deck 5. Starting on deck 5, you'll see you do have the Tropical Theater here, and then directly behind that, we have a conference center, our art and photo gallery. The shops in the Centrum are all the way down here. Then you get to the Centrum area with your next cruise desk, as well as the second floor of the Reflections dining room. This is just a brief view of what the actual theater looks like, so you guys kind of have an idea. It is a pretty decent sized theater for the size of this ship. So like I said, directly behind me is the conference center here, and this is the first deck that you're able to go outside on. So let's walk outside and see what this actually looks like out here. And as you can see, they've just washed the deck down. It is completely covered in water, but it is very clean. Down on this other end, if you look down at that red area, there's actually a shuffleboard court there and some loungers to sit in and enjoy, but there is nobody out here right now. Let's head back inside and finish the tour of deck 5. So like I said, the other side of the ship has your art and photo gallery. So as we walk through the art and photo gallery, this is a great place to pick up some new art or meet some really cool people like Anta here. Anta was awesome. What's up, Anta? Jared also worked here. He's also from South Africa. There he is, that hunk of a man. We continue down. You're going to get to the focus gallery, and this is where all your photos taken on board by the ship photographers can be purchased using those screens you see there. You can also buy GoPro equipment on board, DJI equipment on board, so a lot of different things photo related or video related here. If we leave this area and continue straight, we are going to get into the shops of the Centrum. So as we walk in, the first thing you're going to come to is actually some specialty citizen watches in a glass case, as you can see here. And then the shops actually begin. So on our left side, you're going to have a fine jewelry shop that's going to sell their versions of fine jewelry, including up to Rolexes and Tag Heuers. On the other side, we're going to have the Royal shops just behind this center bucket of basically watches or whatever they're selling for the day. The Royal shops behind that is where they sell all the Royal Caribbean branded merchandise. On this side again, you have your Kate Spades and other port merchant type stuff, just random brands. If you were looking for a shirt or a cover up, something like that. And then they have this perfume and makeup store with Chanel, Christian Dior, stuff like that. And that brings us all the way back to the Centrum on deck 5. As we walk across the Centrum, we can get to Cafe Latitudes. This is where you can buy your specialty drinks, such as your Starbucks coffee on board. Anything that's basically not a pure mixed drink. Now they can add alcohol to it, but that's not the main purpose of this area. And then here is your next cruise area if you're looking to book a future cruise. Then we come all the way back, and yet again, we are at the Reflections dining room. This is going to be the second floor of the dining room. So as we walk into the dining room, even though it's closed right now, the second floor at least because of it being lunch and they only open the bottom deck for lunch, we can get a view of it, and this is what it looks like. It is your very traditional cruise white linen tablecloth style dining room. And as we look at it, something I want to point out is just how good a shape the tables, the chairs, and even the cushions are for a 22-year-old ship. They've obviously taken great care of this and gone through maintenance it, replaced items that needed to be replaced. I mean, it looks really nice for its age. We were just on Voyager, which was in much worse shape than this one. So like I said, this is the top deck of the dining room. We can look down here at the bottom and you can see people are clearing out from the lunch rush, but this is actually the entirety of the dining room. So you can actually see everything here. There's not 3 levels. That is the first floor. This is the second floor of the dining room, and that's it, which is kind of neat. It's due to the fact that this ship only holds 2,200 passengers, so a very small ship, hence the smaller dining room. Moving on to deck 6, you can see there is a lot of public areas and no staterooms at all on deck 6. So starting at the back, we have the Safari Club, Chef's Table. This is not Next Cruise, it's actually the Loyalty Ambassador, 2 specialty restaurants, and the Schooner Bar. You also have the Centrum and Vintages up here, followed by the casino, the pub, a cinema up front, and then the second story of the theater right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at all that. So as we come up the stairs onto deck 6, you do have the Vintages wine bar right here off the Centrum. This bar specializes in wines, so if that's your thing, this is the place to come. You do have a great view of the Centrum. As we talked about before, this does go all the way up to deck 12. I'll show you in a little bit why you can't get there on deck 12, but more importantly to me is the schooner bar right behind it. This is such a neat area. This area is gonna have your schooner bar, the safari club, and your specialty dining. Now, one thing I love about Radiance class ships is the entryway to the schooner bars. I mean, look at this. You feel like you're walking through a ship. You have a ship's hull skeleton over you. You have some rigging on the other side to climb. You have half an entire ship over here, a ship's wheel in front of you, and a ship's bell to take a picture with. I mean, they just do a really cool job on the entryway to the schooner bars on these Radiance class ships that you don't get on the other classes of ship. So really cool. Now, as you walk in, you'll see there is quite a bit of seating in the entryway to the schooner bar. You probably won't have any trouble grabbing seats. There's Chop's Grill. And as we continue by, you will get to the schooner bar itself, which is right here where these gentlemen are waiting to make you some mixed drinks right here. But what's really neat to me is if you look over here to my left, there's a piano there. There's also chairs in front of it. And this is where they'll do musical performances at night with guitars and cellos. I mean, violins, it's beautiful. Here's Giovanni's, the specialty Italian restaurant. Just like Chops, it does cost more money to get to. And then we can continue back to the Safari Club. Now, your Safari Club is similar to the Colony Club on the Radiance of the Seas. As we first walk in, we're gonna come to the pool tables, which are on a gyroscopic level, meaning that even in rough seas, the pool tables stay level, allowing you to play a game of pool. And here's that tucked away loyalty ambassador. I mean, really hiding from you guys here. If it wasn't for that little sign, you probably wouldn't know. Then we walk into the Safari Club, and this is where they're gonna host things like trivia, Family Feud, karaoke, and a bunch of other fun games. And that glass door you see on your right there in front of us is actually the chef's table. Then as I turn around, there's actually another bar back here. So you really should have no trouble finding a place to get a drink, especially on deck 6, due to there being so many bars in such close proximity. Here's the entrance to Chop's Grill just past the schooner bar. You can see this is their specialty dining steakhouse. We turn around, there's more seating, and now we are going to exit the schooner bar and head back out. Just outside of the entryway is this massive model of Serenade of the Seas. So this is actually what she looks like. And it's just cool to get a view of the entire ship and just see the layout from the outside and get a good idea of where you're going, where you're headed, and what's where on the ship. On the other side of the stairwell, this is a crew area only because this is the backstage area for the specialty dining restaurant, so nothing to see here. On the other side of the Centrum, we do have Casino Royale. However, I'm not going to film that because there's people playing in there, but just know it's a relatively small casino. As we walk through the casino towards the front of the ship, we do get to the Crown and Castle pub. It's a typical English style pub decorated in that tradition. And then we can continue walking forward, and that will take us all the way to the second level of the Tropical Theater. As we round the corner from the Tropical Theater, that will actually bring us to our next stop, which is the cinema. So the cinema is actually a full-scale movie theater in here. And as you'll see, they are playing a movie, and it is stadium seating. Now, something I want to point out is that it is very steep steps going down. So if mobility is a challenge for you, just know it's going to be very hard to climb these steps going down. But you can see it is literally a full-size movie theater in here with a large screen. That was something we found really awesome, really interesting. And if you were ever wondering what's playing in the theater, right here on this screen, they show you the next movie. It looks like Chicago is going to be playing, and it'll start at 5 o'clock tonight. As we turn to our left, if we were heading towards the aft of the ship, you would enter the backside of the Crown and Castle pub. However, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and continue back on to deck 7. You've already seen the pub. Here on deck 7, you'll see there is nothing to see. It is all staterooms, top to bottom. just that open centrum area where the elevators are. So let's continue on to deck 8. No need to waste more time here. Deck 8 is also all staterooms, as you guys can see. No need to show you that either. Let's keep this video moving and go to deck 9. Deck 9, yet again, another stateroom filled deck. Nothing to see here. So we're going to keep this tour moving on to deck 10. And deck 10 is going to be our final deck of just cabins. So past this is going to be more public areas on deck 11. So let's head there now. Looking at our layout for deck 11, in the front, you have the Vitality Spa as well as your hair salon, your entrance to the solarium, your adults only pool, the main pool, and then at the very back we have our Windjammer buffet. So let's start with the spa area. Okay, so on board they do have the Vitality Spa and Fitness Center.
They do have a thermal suite with thermal chairs that you can sit in. They have several different massage rooms
and a thermal spa.
As well as in the hair salon, they offer a men's double shave and collagen treatment. It's $129 on this sailing to get that done. So like I said, while they do offer male services, it is going to be pretty expensive.
Directly behind the spa is the entrance to the adults only solarium. This is a place with the adults only hot tubs, the adults only pool. There are no children under 18 allowed in here. So if you're looking for a haven, this is the place to go. Now inside of this, you'll see it is Indian themed. Each Royal Caribbean ship has their own theme, but you can see the elephants on the end of the banister railings there. You'll also see elephants flanking the pool on either side. So there's your elephants, your smaller pool, and the adults only hot tub area. Something else cool is that this has its own bar, so no need to leave the adults only area if you're looking for coffee or for mixed drinks. Following this out, this will take us to our main pool area where you'll have your free life jackets right here. And then as we come around the corner, you have your main pool as well as the main stage where you're going to have musical performances. They do host fitness classes out here as well, such as Zumba and stretching. You have ping pong tables flanking it on either side. And then wrapping around behind this ping pong table, as you can see, is actually an eatery area that's kind of outdoors, kind of shaded from the wind that connects into the Windjammer. And I'll show you that in a little bit. As we come around the corner here, you'll see you do have that big screen where they play outdoor movies out on the pool deck. And then you can see we do have a calypso band performing out here with some seal drums for us. Now this is an inside view from the elevator area looking out onto that seating area where you can eat, partially shaded from the wind on your way to the Windjammer. And this is the Windjammer. As you can see, it is very small comparatively. There's about 5 different islands that you can see here, not a lot to navigate, and then there are going to be 2 dessert bars on either side. And something to know is that the ice cream is also back here on the right side. It's not on the pool deck like on other ships. And then you do have your drink bar on either side, and then seating that wraps all the way around, as well as outside like I just showed you, and on the aft of the ship. But this is a pretty small Windjammer due to it only holding 2,200 passengers. This is that area I was showing you. You have this sliding glass door that leads you into the Windjammer if you wanted to go sit and eat out there. Continuing on to deck 12, as soon as you come up the stairs, this is why there is no centrum view from here. It is because you do have this cool suspended library. There's also board games in here, but it's a very cool, neat retreat, completely suspended over the centrum area. But this is why you can't see past deck 12 on the centrum area, but a very nice, quiet, tucked away retreat for you. Okay, so looking at the layout, you actually have the second floor of the spa, which is technically your fitness center here. You do have a jogging track on deck 12 that goes all the way around the front of the ship, as well as your sky bar here overlooking the main pool area. As we move further back, you're going to have your Adventure Ocean, which is going to be your kids area, with your nursery, Adventure Beach, which is something I really want to point out. It's much different than the larger ships, your sports courts, the arcade, and a Zoomies all the way back here, tucked away and hidden, the only specialty restaurant not on deck 6. So moving on outside, you do have your sky bar, which like I said, overlooks the pool area. And as you can see, the pool does have quite a bit of shallow area around it for the kids to stand in and play in. They don't necessarily have to be in the deep end the whole time. There are only 2 public hot tubs there though, so just know that you're going to be limited on hot tub space on this ship if you're in the main area. Now we were on the ship for 9 days, and as you can see, seating on the pool decks was not a problem. Plenty of loungers around for the size of the ship. So let's continue our way forward to the fitness area. So walking in forward, this is going to show you that this is actually the second floor of the Vitality Spa or the Vitality Fitness Center. And to me, this was so impressive. I mean, look at the size of this gym comparatively to the size of the ship. There are tons and tons of machines as you come in. Pretty much any muscle group you want to work out, you should have no problem at all. The entire front area here is going to be your ellipticals, your treadmills, different types of bikes and rowers, just to allow you to do cardio while running and looking at the beautiful ocean or whatever port you happen to be in at that time. But I mean, look at just how many cardio machines this place actually has. There's really no excuse not to come out here and work out if you're interested in that. You're gonna have space for what you want to do. As you can see, there's a rower here, there's great views. And then as we turn around, there's actually going to be a group fitness area in the middle for classes, yoga, stretching, anything like that. And the one downside to me is actually going to be the free weight area. This is it. It's just a bunch of dumbbells on this rack. And honestly, that's not that many dumbbells. And then you also have this white cage to your right coming out, and that's it. Now on the back of the ship, this is Adventure Ocean. This is where your nursery for Royal Babies and Tots are. Down that hallway is going to be Adventure Ocean, and behind me is the kids' teen lounge called Fuel. So this is your nursery for Royal Tots. As you can see, there's just a large playroom. On the other side of that half wall was a couple cribs for kids to take naps, but that's really it. As you come around into Adventure Ocean, you are going to walk down a long hallway. Now, while Royal Babies and Tots does have a fee at all times, Adventure Ocean for kids 3 and older is free until 10 o'clock at night, or they do charge a small fee. And this is what that area looks like. It is a huge open area, computers, video games. There's tons of activities and things to do on board for them, such as science projects, coloring, crafts. I mean, they really do a lot with the kids on most of these ships. And while this is for 5-year-olds and above, I do have to say my daughter was a bit let down. She was in the 3 to 5-year-old area right next door, which you'll see here. And all the teachers let them do was sit there and color the whole time. They did no crafts and they didn't play at all, which bored her to tears. So as we move outside and we walk towards the aft of the ship or the back of the ship, this is where we're going to come to Adventure Beach. However, I want to note these windows right here are actually the windows and doors into that Adventure Ocean area. So that's how close this actually is to Adventure Ocean. Now, the reason that I want to point out Adventure Beach to you guys is because it is much different than Splashaway Bay that you would see on the larger ships. It is much smaller. Now, they do have this one giant slide that starts in this lighthouse right here. It goes all the way up and you can slide down with your child if they're under 48 inches. However, you can see it's just like a waiting area and a very small jacuzzi-sized pool for the kids. Here you have the sports courts. As you can see, there's going to be soccer nets, basketball goals, pickleball nets, all sorts of sports going on here at all times of the day. Right now, they seem to have a shooting competition going on. But right behind that is this. You can see it's just that one big slide and this one little slide. That's it. So this is a better look at the back side of that. Not much for the kiddos to do here. They don't have that dumping bucket like you would see, or that huge climbing thing for the kids to play on like you would see on the bigger ships. So we'll walk past all of this and we're going to make a left and head towards the back of the ship and show you the hidden specialty dining up here. So after making that turn, this is where Izumi is actually hidden. It's the only specialty dining, not back there by the schooner bar on deck 6. So this is your entrance to it. I'm sorry the camera is so wobbly. It was extremely windy, as you can see by that woman's hair and clothes. You do have more loungers here. As you can see, there are open chairs. But then we walk back and we get to this beautiful wake view off the rear of the ship. I mean, let's just enjoy that beautiful view. And looking down, that is Rita's Cantina right here off the back of the Windjammer. Just another place for you to hang out. But man, isn't this one of your favorite views? I know it is one of my favorites for sure. So let's walk around the other side, which is going to bring us to the Challengers Arcade. This is their video arcade. Now, due to the size of the ship, the arcade is relatively small. You'll see there's a few driving games, a motorcycle game, a couple air hockey tables, and then a lot of like claw games, and that's really it. I mean, this is the entire arcade here. Not much to write home about, but at least it is something. And remember, this does cost money. None of this is free. You're gonna have to use your SeaPass card and charge it to your account to be able to play these games with your children. Just outside of the arcade is actually the shuffleboard courts. That's another court, as you saw down on deck 5 on the outside. All the equipment is free, and it's right here behind you to use on these nice little racks. And you can see they even have the rules there if you're unsure how to play. But let's continue our journey. As you can see, looking at the map, there is no deck 13 on the forward end of the ship, only on the aft. So we're gonna have to head to the back to get up there. So let's work our way back there now. So from the library, we're gonna head up to deck 13. And as we get up to deck 13, one of the first things we're gonna come to is actually the club area known as the Vortex. Now, the Vortex is actually going to be your nightclub. This is where they're going to host parties at night. And this is the dance floor / stage, but they also host virtual golf here. So they have a golf simulator, as you can see here, during certain port days and certain sea days for people to play golf, which is really cool. It used to be something on a lot of celebrity ships, and now you really don't see this that often. This is the first ship we've been on that actually had that. The Vortex does have some seating there. It used to be the Crown Lounge, but like I said, it is now the Vortex. So past that, we do have the Concierge Club. This is for Suite and Pinnacle guests only. We are not staying in one of those, and we are not Pinnacle, so we cannot show you that. However, moving to the other side of the ship, you do have the Crown Lounge, formerly the Diamond Lounge, and this is for Diamond and above guests, and we can show you that. So we'll come in here. So as you can see, it's just a small lounge area with a desk up front for the concierge to sit at when they're there for certain hours. And this is the actual like cocktail hour buffet bar they have for you in this lounge, as well as that coffee machine. Probably one of my wife's favorite things is once you make Diamond or above, you can come get free coffees, lattes, espressos, Americana coffee, decaf, anything right there. And as you walk around, this is the whole buffet area right here. So in the morning, you'll have your pastries and avocado toast, donuts, stuff like that out here, nothing major. At night, it's more finger food, hors d'oeuvres, chicken wings, that type of stuff out here. Nothing too crazy, guys. You can have your water, your teas, anything like that. And then of course, your specialty coffee machines, but nothing else going on at any other time of the day in here. And then behind me is just more chairs and desk. I'm just trying to be courteous to the people that were in here and give them their privacy. And the concierge's desk.
There's a couple spaces on 13. We have to go back outside, and you actually have to go up from the sports court area to get to it. It's going to be our rock climbing wall, and it's going to be the putt-putt area. So we're going to head there next.
So we're just outside of Challenger's Arcade, and there is a stairwell here that we do have to traverse to get to the putt-putt course, as well as the rock climbing area. But as you can see, it's right by the sports courts. So let's start with a quick tour of the putt-putt course. Sorry about my finger, guys. The wind was just blowing the camera around. I was trying to stabilize it. This is free. The equipment's right there for you, but this is the entire putt-putt course. So this is the end of it. It's a 9-hole course. And as we walk around, you'll see I was actually really impressed with the shape of this putt-putt course. It looks really nice, especially compared to Radiance's, which was all tore up and in terrible shape. Yet again, I'm assuming this is because the Ultimate World Tour was on this and that cruise had people living on board for 9 months, so they sunk a lot of money into this ship. So yeah, looking at this is great. We actually had one of our clients win the putt-putt tournament on board, first place. Congratulations to Larry. As we keep going, you do see there's some speaker grills knocked out there, likely some teenagers vandalizing that, but otherwise in great shape. Now we can continue forward towards the rock climbing wall here from hole number 1, and you'll see we can actually look down over the sports courts. So if you have a family member or a friend playing sports down there, this is a great vantage point to see that from. You see this guy just dropping buckets. Boom. On the other side, you do have that really cool slide I was telling you about that you can see just looping all around. I mean, just really cool, dropping into the end there around that area. That's the only nice thing about Adventure Beach, in my opinion. And then ahead of us, of course, is the famous rock climbing wall that most of the Royal Caribbean ships do have. So there it is in front of you, and then a bunch of loungers, not much else to do. So you can walk back to get back down. All the other doors are locked, and there you see a dad and his child going down the slide. Pretty cool. All right, guys, thank you for joining me on this tour of Serenade of the Seas. I hope you found it helpful. We've seen everything from deck 2 to deck 13 and everything in between. Maybe this has helped you decide that Serenade is the right ship for you, or maybe that it's not. Either way, we're gonna make a full playlist for you on Serenade of the Seas, including this, as well as a 9-day cruise review and 2 different stateroom tours. I'll put a link to that playlist up here once it's live. And remember, you can always use the QR code here or the link down in the description to have Amy book the perfect cruise on the perfect itinerary for you, whether it's Serenade or any other ship on any other line. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and consider watching more of our great cruising content, and we'll see you guys on the next one.